Hello everybody, it's Holly from Besotted Books, and this, who is frantically running away from us, going to check out something, is my Lilibet. Yes, she was named after Queen Elizabeth. Lily, come back! Come! She's going to investigate something. She was born right before Queen Elizabeth had passed. So, her name is Lilibet. Anyhow, I am down here in Mohican. We came down from the gorge, and I thought you might want to see some of the most beautiful, beautiful flowers. Sorry, that's my husband. He just distracted me. He's messaging to say he will pick us up on the other end if I don't do the big loop. I thought I'd bring you down here and show you some flowers and try not to shake the phone too much, and I'd like to talk to you about the book I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Harpman. Now, this book was originally published in 1995, if I remember correctly. I have no notes with me. And I'm sure it was a relative hit. I'm thinking it was okay. Good enough for them to think they're going to republish it at a later date. But the second time that it has been published, just recently, it has gone pretty much viral. It seems like every channel you go on to, people are talking about this book. And for that very reason alone, I did not want to read it. I am one of those people who says, if the whole world is reading the book, I have no interest in it. I feel like I'm being driven to the book, and I'm not a fan of that. But it was an interesting title, and I have heard enough about it on various channels that I thought, I'm going to check this book out. So I did. And it is the most tightly written book I have ever read. These people really don't venture very far. It is extremely tight in the writing style. Excuse me, hair blew right in my mouth. I want to show you this. That is a Jack in the Pulpit, surrounded by spring beauties, if you're from Ohio. If you are from eastern Kentucky, where my husband grew up, you would call this tanglegut. And they actually, according to him, survived by eating that when he was younger. Which, seriously, up here we ate dandelion. Much easier to get a lot of spring greens in your diet. So anyhow, not disparaging you if you did or did not eat those beautiful little flowers. What is this over here? I do want to show you this as well. This is a different one that I have not seen. I'll tell you, springtime in Mohican Forest is absolutely beautiful. And she is loose because there is nobody else out here on the trails today. It seems to be just us. So anyhow, back to the book. Okay, so these people, the story centers around women. I believe there were 39 women. Once again, I'm out here in the woods flying off my memory. I don't have any notes with me. 39 women. The book opens in a setting of, believe it or not, a subterranean, an underground cage. A cage. It has 39 women living in this, including the main character of our story, who we know of no name for her other than Child, or the Child. This is her story. So the story is based on basically a nameless person. They never took the time to give her a name. And I don't know if they never gave her a name because they never expected to be released. They never expected to actually need a name. But the other women in the cage with her were much older. Much, much older. Hence, Child. So, nobody knows. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now. This is a whole bunch of nobody knows anything. Nobody knows anything, okay? So wrap your mind around that. I'm not going to tell you anything because there's nothing to tell you. They were in a cage and something happened when they were guarded by men, so they did see them. They just never spoke. The guards never, ever spoke to them. And of course, the older women had known men, but she had not because she was brought into custody, confinement at such a very young age. So, excuse me while I situate my hair. Yeah. So anyhow, they're in this underground cage. The guard comes one day. to slide some food over, do something he had to do where he unlocked the door for a moment. These are called May apples. When we see May apples in Ohio, we know it's time to go mushroom hunting. Anyhow, back to the story. So he opens the cage or starts unlocking it. Something happens. Does he go running off? I believe he goes running off. The women realize very shortly after they can get out. They can get out. They come up out of there to a world that is pretty much empty. It's barren. There's no people around. There are no buildings. There's no vegetation like we're seeing here. There's absolutely nothing in their environment. So we don't know. Is it set here on Earth in some post-apocalyptic world? Is it some kind of a penal colony on another planet even? This is never told to the reader. We don't know any of this. Once again, why would you read the book? I don't know, but it was very, very interesting. So I am going to talk about it. It was very interesting. So the women decide they're going to venture out. They've been in there many, many years. They're going to go venturing out. The May-apples with the sun on them. Anyhow, they go venturing out, and they try to find somewhere that they can go. And there is just absolutely nothing around them. So they just travel, and sooner or later, they run across a pile of rocks. They do a little investigating. The rock formations basically tell them there's another bunker. And not all of the bunkers were full of women. Some of them contained men. And lots of this does not take place in a week. This takes place within years. So some of these men and women that they stumble upon at later dates are basically skeletonized. It is a very long time coming through this book. It's a long period of time, but they really don't go anywhere or really do anything significant in it, if you know what I mean. So they do go down into these bunkers. They do break into storage facilities within the bunker. And they're able to feed themselves. They're able to find all kind of canned food and supplies that are just going to keep them going. There's no means for them to grow food. There's no means for them to form a colony outside. There are no men to procreate with. There's nothing to build their colony. So when they're gone, they are gone. There's nothing left. So the book just goes on and on. Their journeys from place to place. When they run out of food, they do go off searching. But in reality, they're also desperately hoping they are not the only people on Earth, in quotations, or wherever they happen to be. They're hoping they're not the only ones out there. But to the end of the book, as you will see, I'm just going to tell you. Because this is not a mystery book where I wouldn't want to spoil the ending. They never find anybody. They never find another living soul. This is called bloodroot. And when this plant, if you pull the roots up, you hear a deer snorting up on the hill. It literally will have really, really red liquid coming out of it. There is the May-apple. One day I'll zoom down for a picture for you and go find a mushroom, a morel. So anyhow, the story is basically morphs into them aging. And what happens when these older women age? They start hurting. They start becoming ill. They start getting diseases. And nobody has any medical training. There's none of that available to them. There's no doctors. There's no nurses. There's nothing to them for them to help them through this time. So, child, as young as she is, she finds the fortitude, I guess you would call it, to help ease these women out of their pain and into the next realm that they're going to pass into. And one by one, child literally is an angel of mercy, she considers herself, helping these women to pass on. And then she does venture off on her own, but that is really, look at those fiddlehead ferns, you can actually eat those. Absolutely beautiful. I don't mean to keep interrupting myself, but I do want to show you these beautiful things around me. So anyhow, child does venture off on her own to try to find something or someone, and that's really how the story ends. There's no contact between them and anybody else, and I will give you a disclaimer. If you have a little more delicate sensibilities or are I don't know, certain subjects might offend some people out there. But literally, if you're an avid reader, I'm going to assume that you're not going to be shocked by too terribly much out there. It does open with a child becoming more, shall we say, woman-like, and she's developing some needs and some desires and things like that. And she is fantasizing about one of the male guards, although she's never spoken to him. So that is in there. I do want to give a little disclaimer in case anybody would have a little bit of problem with some sexual type things in the book. So other than that, I don't, and there is some death, things like that. But other than that, there's nothing, it's not a horrific, there's nothing horrific happening in this book that I think would prevent anybody from reading this. So, would I recommend I Who Have Never Known Men? Apparently I am. I'm telling you all about this very strange book. It is a very strange book. It probably is the strangest book I've ever read. Being that it's so tight, there's just nothing going on. There's nothing going on besides aging. There's absolutely nothing going on beyond looking for more food and survival. There's nothing. There's nothing. And yet I do think it is worthy of a read. It's not a very long book. Off the top of my head again, around 200, 250 pages. It's not lengthy. It's not going to take you a long amount of time. But at the end of the day, when you finish reading the book or listening to it, however you do your reading, you can tell people that you have read, not fully understood, but you have read I Who Have Never Known Men. I'm going to zoom over here so you can see my precious Bet when I zoom out. She is my absolute hiking companion. There she is, Lily. Lily, say hi. Lil. She goes by Lily. She goes by Lil. She goes by Bet. She goes by Lilibet. She goes by Precious Heart. And she is absolutely every one of those things. So yes, we are out hiking today, and I did want to take a moment just to show you some of the absolute beauty we are surrounded by today. And as you can see, plants are moving around. There's some rain on the ground we've recently had, and a beautiful breeze. And right over there, I should take a picture of it before I'm done, there's the most beautiful river. The Mohican River goes down right on the other side of these trees, like maybe 150 feet from it. So, thank you so much for listening to my ramblings about I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline. I'm not saying that right. Jacqueline Harpman. Please, feel free to let me know what you think of it if you have read the book. It's just interesting. It's an interesting read. Let me know if you think it is dystopian, if you think it is, it's obviously dystopian, if you think it is an alien planet, if it's Earth, what type of atmosphere, and where do you think they're located? What do you think is going on with this book? It's quite the puzzle. So thank you so much for joining me and Lilibet today in the Mohican Forest. Please like, share, subscribe, and above all, enjoy those books.